really is awesome. Cool.
Is it recording?
Yep.
Okay, good.
The idea for today is to separate, there were a couple people who were able to come to my class this morning at 10:50, and despite that, Rhys even still decided to show up this afternoon after seeing my class. So I must not have ruined it that hard. But this is a chance for the four of you, and hopefully a couple more will show. We had 7 people register, but pandemic times, who knows what comes up in the afternoon. So this is a chance for you to chat with 2 current students. And so I have with me on my screen, on my left and right, conveniently, Taylor Sanzo, who is a senior. Taylor is from Connecticut, and she is the president of the TV club. She is, I would say one of, I remember this day with her incredibly well. I remember meeting her on the accepted students day. We were swapping stories about that today. But I love that. I love knowing that, I've been at Springfield for 11 years. I'll keep my bio out of it. We'll do that later. But Taylor is a wonderful, wonderful representative, and sadly won't be here when you get here next year. But that isn't, I know, sorry, I'm sorry. But that's not to say that she can't still be a resource. I think one of the things that COSJ does beautifully is forge these connections, even with cohorts that are gone before you get here. And on my left, your left, probably not on anyone else's left, it's just where he's oriented for me, is Hayden Choate. Hayden is a junior, and he is from the seacoast of New Hampshire. He is a hockey player. And one of since these 2 with me are the most sincerely kindest people, but it's not, it's kind, it's skilled, it leads with its humanity, and it's everything that COSJ really is, and why I think we love it so much. And so these 2, Hayden will be here next year. And so for that, this is a bond that you can really sink your teeth into. And so with that, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let these 2 handle the introductions, what they want to say. And honestly, this is a chance for you to have as candid a conversation as you want about a program that the 3 of us really, truly believe strongly in. So I will see you in 24 minutes. I've already monopolized too much time, but it's really, really good to see you all here, Rhys and Luke and Molly and Harrison. I really appreciate you taking the time today. I'm going to click leave, and I'm going to pray that it doesn't boot everyone out. I know Taylor's the co-host, but it's the anxiety, Zoom anxiety. So T and Hayden, if everything goes kaput, just shoot me a quick text and I promise to fix it. Okay. All right. I'll see y'all in 20. Bye.
All right, Hayden, how do you want to kick this off?
Do we want to introduce ourselves a little more and say our favorite memory? I guess you can go first since you're the senior.
Okay, I'm Taylor. I'm a senior. I guess a favorite memory within the major.
I guess, yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's definitely not a specific memory, but I guess just being involved in TV and the clubs as a whole. I dabbled in radio and newspaper for a little bit, so that's always fun. I definitely recommend getting into some clubs when you get on campus, just to broaden your experiences with the field, and just immersing yourself with the people and the professors. We're all really great. So yeah, I would just say collectively, the clubs have been my favorite part of COSJ.
Yeah, and I would totally agree. I think that's the coolest thing is just with this major, you have basically 3 clubs within it. I mean, radio is kind of your own thing. You can do what you want. I had my own show last year. It was pretty funny. Just me talking, but still was fun. And then I would have guests all the time. But then like Taylor said, TV club and then newspaper, it's, both are like families basically. So you already have, 3 clubs right there within the major itself. And I would definitely recommend trying all 3. Like Taylor said, I mean, she's the president of the TV club, but she's done all 3 and I've done all 3 too. I think my favorite experience, we did this in Marty's class, who you'll meet later if you haven't yet, but we did this a couple weeks ago when the semester started. And I just said I took a sports writing class, or the sports writing class with him last year, fall 19, and just we had a packed classroom, and normally that would feel just be oh, there's so many kids, I feel like the professor's not giving me enough attention, but I mean, a packed classroom was 19 kids. So not even that many to begin with. And then on top of that, everyone in that class is like unbelievably awesome, no matter what year you were. A lot of them were seniors and they graduated. Now they're doing awesome stuff. Some of them were like sophomores and juniors and, are just killing it. But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Does anyone have any opening questions that they want to ask Taylor or I?
Well, if you guys don't have any, we have like a huge list, not a huge list, but we have a list that Kyle gave us to kind of like kickstart it. I don't know if you still have it, Hayden. It's in my email somewhere. But let me pull it up. But kind of, I just wanted to go off of like what you were saying earlier. Like that's like one of the good things about this major is how small and tight knit it is. Like it's not. So I know you guys probably hear this a lot, and it is kind of cliche, but you're not, just like a name on a professor's like email list or whatever. Like, they actually take the time to know you and build a relationship with you. I mean, look at Kyle, like you guys saw how he was talking to us, like it's like family. And the students here are all really great. We all get along. We all have had opportunity to like build relationships with each other. So that is definitely not an issue coming into this major. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, one of the questions is like, do professors hold office hours? I think I only have like, I mean, I'm a junior, but like I only have like 3 more gen eds, and even the gen eds and in our major, every professor is there to help you, like 100%. I don't think I've ever had a professor that's not held office hours. And if they, whatever reason, didn't, they obviously would just be like, come see me, shoot me an email. That's really their biggest thing is like they want to help you, and it's a collaborative effort for sure.
Yeah. So the first thing that was on like the sample question list that we probably should do is have you guys kind of go around, introduce yourselves, and then if like what you guys are feeling like interested in the club, or not the club, the major, or if you have any kind of idea of what you want to do. How does everyone sound? Like, how does that sound with icebreakers? Good? Awesome. Anyone want to get us started?
I can start if you want.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Okay. My name is Rhys Merritt. I'm from Maine, mostly in the southern part. I go to North Yarmouth Academy. And then I think I got really into sports communication mostly because I'm really into football. I don't actually play, but I've always been really interested in it and like making spreadsheets and analyzing statistics. I've never really gotten into the communication part, but I know kind of like I have to push myself to be able to do that to get like my like production work out there. So like it'll probably be a challenge, but like I think I'm pretty ready to do it.
Awesome. Anyone want to go next?
Yeah, I can go. My name is Molly. I'm from Rhode Island, and I'm also interested in football, and I'm hoping to do some sports casting.
Awesome. I like literally love when I hear girls getting involved with sports and stuff because it's really lacking in this major. So let's go.
I'll go. My name is Harrison Leone. I'm from Long Island, New York. I go to Lehigh. I don't know if any of you guys know who Eric Bellier is. Does that name ring a bell?
Shut up. I love Eric.
Yeah. He's doing a journalism class at my school right now, and I'm taking it. So yeah, it's a name, apparently big name here, good guy. Got into journalism because I just love sports and I love talking about them. I might as well talk about them in front of people, right?
All right. Hi. Also, my name is Rashik Hill. I'm currently a senior at Portchester High School in New York. The reason why I got involved into sports communications and journalism is because I'm a huge sports fan. Like I watch Sports Center every day. Like that's like the only channel I watch. And for like a future like job or occupation, I want to try to work for like a professional team like the like in baseball, basketball, football, like the Giants, the Yankees, or like the Dodgers. And yeah.
Awesome. Harry, next person.
My name's Luke Dominic. I go to Henderson High School in Pennsylvania. It's kind of near Philadelphia. And I've played sports my whole life and watched sports. And I guess like the past couple years, like I've listened to a lot of like sports radio with my dad and stuff. And I've been really into that. So I kind of got into like thinking that would be like something I'd want to do. And I really like writing about sports. So I'd be interested in being like a journalist and like reporting for sports teams.
Awesome. So it looks like we have like a huge, just everyone's kind of into sports in this group, right? Awesome. I just want to put it out there too, though, like even though we are like, you know, sports journalism and the school is so like heavily reliant on sports, like you don't have to just go down that avenue. So if you ever decide like within your 4 years here, like I'd rather go into like, you know, hard hitting straight journalism or any other, I don't know, like just any kind of media relation field, like you totally have that opportunity. So it's not just limited to sports.
Yeah, definitely. Does anyone have any questions for us that they'd like to ask? Be happy to answer them.
What are the internships you've done, or what I would maybe be able to do, or what Springfield offers?
Do you want to start, Taylor, since you're older?
No, go. Sorry, go for it.
So actually, I'm actually at home right now. I'm not on campus. I'm doing an internship right now with my local newspaper, and I'm covering high school sports. And just as like an internship, well, I'll start with what Springfield offers. Basically, it's totally up to you what you want to do. When I approached, because it's Marty Dobra who's in charge of the internship, kind of like it's a class technically, but it's not, you don't meet. But when I approached him, I was like, I want to do something with a newspaper. Like I want to, cover some kind of sports. And he was like, all right, well, why don't we look here. There's, I think it's the Greenfield Reporter and the Daily Hampshire Gazette are the two that were near Springfield. And then obviously the one up here that I ended up getting and I'm doing, and it's been incredible. And literally, I know this wasn't really part of your question, but like I've had like so much fun with it and been able to do so much with it because of what I've learned in just 3 years here. So, and then, sorry, I totally just lost my train of thought, but yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, Taylor, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of avenues for internships. Unfortunately, I had an internship lined up like the spring semester of my junior year at NBC Providence, but then Corona happened and that like went out the window. So that was a bummer, but like, things happen, but there's always other opportunities. So for my senior year, the last 2 semesters, I've been doing an internship with public relations and a media relations route. So hasn't been like straight journalism that we usually learn here, but it's definitely something that's super easy to adapt into with the skills you learn as a journalist and like a professional communicator here. It's super easy to go into fields related. So that's kind of where I'm headed right now.
And just to jump on that, I remember my thought, and it actually like goes with your point, Taylor. And then like the athletics department offers a bunch. That was another one that I was going to look into. Just like again, like different avenues you can do, like PR, or like 2 kids in our major, Jack and JJ, are doing like videography. So there's definitely a lot of different routes you can do literally just here on campus, or like I know a couple kids have done it at Western New England and AIC, which are local too. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for sure. Any other questions?
Well, hold on. The one good thing about internships too is the connections you make in your internship. So I don't know, say you meet like a news director and they're like, oh, I can hook you up with my friend who works here. And, boom, you already have another internship. So it's super important to probably land an internship, not like right away, but I would start thinking about it so you can start building those connections, because that's what really launches you into a job market. I know you guys like have a while to think about it, but emphasizing the connections you make in your internships and here are super important. Any other questions? Oh. Unfortunately, I have not studied abroad. I always thought about it. My roommates, actually, a few of them studied abroad, but then they got sent home because, Corona happened, which stinks. But the study abroad experience, from what I've heard, is really fun. And I've never heard a student that's ever said anything bad about it. And there's a ton of options that this school offers to go, like a ton of other countries that you can pick from. So if I could have done something in college that I hadn't, I probably would have been to study abroad.
Yeah, I'd have to say the exact same thing as Taylor. I like had pictured kind of maybe doing it this semester, but obviously the world's in shambles right now. But no, I've heard nothing but great things about people that have done it, and you definitely have the opportunity to do it through the college for sure.
All right, if no one has questions, I guess we can go through that list. Would you want to do that, Aiden?
Yeah, you can pick one.
Okay. So a question. This is actually a good question. What is the campus environment / student life like during the week and weekends? And normally, my answer probably will be a lot different pre-COVID. But honestly, I don't think the environment's changed very much. Everyone on campus is still super friendly and outgoing. I see groups together all the time, and people with their professors I'll see walking by their classroom or whatever. Weekends it is kind of a little different because not as many people are on campus, or they're leaving on the weekend just because not a lot of stuff is going on because of COVID. But there's a lot of activities that the school does. We have our campus activities board that organizes a lot of events for students. They'll do bingo nights where you can win a TV, and I don't know what else do, crafts in the union, and movie nights. So that's fun. Those are fun.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a ton of stuff. Just in general, it's a tiny school, which is awesome because you kind of know everyone. It's small population wise and physically, so you see everyone around. And then the weekends, one big thing is there's always sports going on, and you're probably gonna know a lot of people playing, so you can always go watch them. And like Taylor said, it's called Campus Activities Board. They offer so much events and stuff, which are really cool. Right now there's an ice rink on campus, which is awesome. But yeah, I'd say that's about it. Should I pick a question? All right. This can kind of go back to what does the college offer for student academic support services? This is kind of going back to what I talked about. So our library is actually called the Learning Commons, and you can go in there and get so much assistance, whether that's one-on-one tutoring. They have these really cool things, they've I don't know what they're called, Taylor might know, but they're mini classrooms, and you can sign up for a time, and you and some people can go in if you want to study. There's little pods you can go in, and I think it might be the 4th floor, maybe it's the 3rd, that's all quiet, all the time. And I think it's open till midnight every night. I could be mistaken, but it's definitely some great resources at the Learning Commons.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it either, honestly. So oops. But everything you said was right. I think it's the 4th floor. That's the quiet floor. So if you really need to get studying stuff done or work done, just go up to the 4th floor. I promise you will not hear anything. It's pretty quiet there. But the 3rd floor especially has these little cubicle boxes where you can, you sign up through online to get a private room if you want to use the library for 3 hours, I think. So those are always helpful. I used to use those a lot when I was younger. Not so much anymore, just because my school work is kind of done. But I definitely recommend doing that.
And then just to add on to that, another key is the union. Obviously you guys probably haven't been on campus yet, but the union, you'll see, has a ton of places you can go to study too. And you walk in and there's a desk, and you walk to the right and then down some stairs, and there's it's like almost like a food court and people eat there. That part's louder, and there is like places you can go and study. But if you like just stay in the main area, there's like an upstairs. It's wicked quiet, and you and your friends can go and get stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, this also might not be the most conventional place to study, but like all of the freshman dorms have common rooms. And like I've actually seen people even use them. I don't know, say like your roommate is being too loud, or like, I don't know, you can hear something from your wall. Just go out in the common room. There's a couch, there's usually like a table. And a lot of people just like set their stuff up and go to work. So it's not super popular compared to the library or the union, but it's definitely like an alternate option if you don't want to leave your building. Yeah.
Any more questions for us?
Have any of you guys been to campus? Have you guys taken like an in-person tour yet?
I haven't been.
Yeah. Just one or two? How many things did I see? Well, what did you think of it, like when you were on campus? No.
Well, so I went, I think like last winter, like I think in January. No, it was last November, like obviously a few months before COVID. Um, I had a friend who was on the team at Springfield, for I believe it was either uh basketball or football. Um, and we went and like we toured the campus. We, we saw the cafeteria, the dorms. Um, but like me personally, I love the campus. But the only thing was probably like the weather, because when we had to watch the game, like the wind and like the wind chill was like super cold. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much it.
Yeah, honestly though, that's kind of a benefit to having a small campus. So you're not, walking 30 minutes across the campus in like the rain. So that's definitely something that I like about having something that's a little more tight knit. But yeah, I toured the first time I ever toured this campus, it was like snowing too. So I totally get that. Oh, hi. Everyone.
What are you talking about? It's always 75 and sunny on the Springfield campus.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions or something that we can answer for you guys?
I have a question for you guys, for Taylor and Hayden. What do you wish you had known about the COSJ major coming in that you didn't know?
That's a good question.
What would have been helpful? Or what has surprised you about us?
I love the alumni relationship that COSJ has. With our alumni. I didn't think that was, I don't know why, coming onto campus, when I was 18, that would have been like a possibility to make connections, but that's always been super helpful. I've literally met so many people that have come and go through this major, which has been awesome, because then, that helps with connecting with them and future opportunities. So definitely that was something that was pleasantly surprising.
I think kind of going back to what I said is that, well, I think I said earlier that, you can do all three, radio, TV, and newspaper, but I think just having the opportunity to be able to call games as a freshman and cover games. I remember I was able to do like a conference championship basketball game my freshman year, and like doing play-by-play, and to have told me that I'd be doing that a year before, it would be like absolutely unbelievable. So probably that you can just jump right in and get experience.
Anything else? We already went through the like that list of questions. So yeah, we're kind of rounding out our talk.
I am sure that you guys were absolutely fantastic, and thank you so much to Hayden and Taylor. Our Hay and Tay show will come to its conclusion now, but hope that you future students have been thoroughly enamored of our current students as we faculty members are, and thanks so much. And for those future students, please stay on, and we are going to try to do it half as well with the faculty people. And Kyle, maybe we'll have you start because you've already had contact with these students. And
I'm going to start really quickly. T-Bone, before you sign off, I need you to make me the host again so that it doesn't end everything.
Okay, how do I do that?
I think if you hover over my little like 3-dot
Mhm.
menu and you can say make host or whatever. I think.
It just gives me the option to chat or pin. But let
Let me
me.
see. Or maybe I'm automatically, hold on, maybe
Yes,
I'm
you're a
automatic.
host.
Oh, it does? Okay. As
Yeah.
long as, okay, cool. Awesome.
you guys can stay on too, Taylor and Hayden, if you want.
Yeah.
Just make sure that, hold us accountable if we're saying anything that's not right.
I haven't said anything not right since I last talked to my kids, and that was when I said everything wrong. So like 3 minutes. It's a big streak. Yeah, T and Hayden, thank you for handling this. This was awesome, and I think you would probably agree that this is a pretty rad little bunch, pretty rad bunch of the beginning of an incredible class of. Is it Dell? Is this 25? Would this be the class of 25? Yo,
Yeah.
that's cool. Awesome. So hi Amy, hi Fadia, it's great to see you. Hey Marty. And I think we'll probably for Rhys and Luke and Harrison and Rashik and Molly, I think the professors here would like to hear from you and about you as well. So I think probably the best way to start this session, this half an hour, is for us to just give a very brief overview of who we are and what we do and what we're so excited about working with you on over your next 4 years as we get you ready for a really remarkable career that you all have in store in this field that we love so much. But first, I want to pass the mic to Dell because I want to make sure that I'm not zooming past Dell McGoffin. How's it going, Dell?
Good. This is the one window. There's no noise happening behind me, so I'll talk really fast. I just wanted to thank the students, Taylor and Hayden, for just meeting with all the accepted students. I want to thank the accepted students for being here today. And just kind of a touch point for all of you, we will have an accepted student open house on April 11th. You'll be getting information about that, but on that day, you'll have the opportunity to really speak with a lot of other students. So my biggest piece of advice, which is unsolicited, is to try to get on campus if you can, if you haven't already been on campus. You could have amazing virtual visits, but it's a feeling, or it's not, that you get when you get to the college. And we just hope that you can kind of see and feel what all these students have been talking about, with the faculty who will be talking about with you, which is just a really unique community that is Springfield College. But we do hope that you can visit. We are open 6 days a week for visits. And then our April open house, you'll have an opportunity to really interact with a lot of other students as well. That's the other big piece of advice, is talk to as many students at the places that you're looking as you can, because they are paying to go to Springfield College. We all get paid to talk well about Springfield College. And so I just think that that's the best way you're going to know that they'd be your future, classmates. So thanks again for being here. And to all the professors, I haven't met all of you yet, but welcome and have fun.
Thank you, Dell. Dell, do you want me to click record on this session, or
Taylor's just going to have it roll through.
Okay.
Yeah, and she'll send me the recording at the end, but thank you.
Fantastic. You're welcome. All right. So without any further delay, I'm going to take up, which is really hard. You have 4 communications professionals in the room with you. So when they say we're going to be brief, just get your popcorn. We're going to talk for a minute. I'm sorry. So my name is Kyle Boulanger. I have been on campus now as a member of the faculty for 11 years. And it was great to have Rashik and Rhys in my class today at 10:50. But I want to just say that it wasn't like a closed offer. If Harrison and Luke and Molly, if you decide that you want to sit in on a class, I can make that happen, right? Just let me know what works for you. I'll tell you what classes line up. There's no reason why that offer had to be closed today. So if you're interested, I'd be really excited to have you in. My classes, I tend to focus more on audio broadcasting, internet journalism, and of late, public relations. Recently, in the last 7 years or so, which is recent to me, when you get to be in your 40s, 7 years is recent. I started hearing that students in COSJ wanted public relations classes, wanted strategic communications classes. And in academia, it's funny like that. You can't really teach it unless you have, professional experience in it or a degree. So I went back and got my degree in public relations, just so I could start to write and teach public relations classes. And so we are starting to really build that out. And I foresee that being a very large part. I know Taylor's really finding her, really feeling her oats in PR, and she's really gifted at it, in addition to being gifted at a number of things. So that's been my focus. Professionally, I'm the media voice of the Basketball Hall of Fame. I work every year on Radio Row, from which I teach my classes at the Super Bowl. I've recently brought students to March Madness. I was hired to cover the Final Four last year before it got canceled. And in each of those experiences, I like to bring my classroom directly to it. Obviously, I can't physically bring you, but I will often. It used to be impressive when I could teach remotely from a thing. Now everyone does it, so they're like, "Oh, you even Zoom, bro?" But like so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I can't wait to work with each one of you across the breadth of the curriculum. I will also say you're entering at an incredible time. And I know Marty will talk about, he's been here since day number 1. And you're looking at Amy and Fadia, who are really, they're about to really help us launch the now of COSJ. And so your class of 25 is on the doorstep of what I consider to be a brand new launch of a program that has already gained some pretty remarkable esteem. And with that, I will pass the mic to whoever wants it. How's that for horrible emceeing?
Well, I guess I will take it briefly. So I'm Marty Dobrow. I have been here since day 1. As Kyle says, day 1 means 1999 when our major started. So we are now 22 years into it, and that's basically the age of our senior class as they graduate, usually is 22. So as long as they've been alive, I have been in Springfield College, and it still feels very fresh and new and exciting to me. It's been a great part of my personal journey here on Earth, being connected with this program, being connected to so many wonderful students over all these years, and want to echo what Taylor said at the end of the student session about how nourishing our alumni group is. It really is a extremely close-knit group. If you enter this community, you become part of something very large. I know a lot of sports teams like to use the, family cliche. We are a family. There's a lot of that feeling that you will get in this major. It's extraordinarily close-knit. We had a celebration a couple years ago of 20 years of the major, had almost 50 alums come back all on their own dime from all over the country, led a number of alumni-led workshops on, life in modern television, modern newspapers, magazines, public relations, life at ESPN. Great sessions that were all alumni-led, directed towards current students and future students. And we have a number of our alums who have paid it forward and opened the doors for the next generation of students. So that's a really terrific thing. And just I think the sense of community is fantastic. I will just close by echoing Kyle's comments that you are entering at the absolutely perfect time. We have been a very strong major throughout. We have built in some great ways. Our alumni have done great things. I think you got the letter that I wrote about what some of our last year's graduates are doing already in great jobs. That's all impressive, but we are about to become so much better than we have ever been before. I am absolutely confident of that because we have hired 2 absolutely fantastic new faculty members who are joining us in the fall, and out of their generosity have taken time out of their busy schedules and other jobs to join us today. And so we have Amy Crawford and Fadia Nordtveit. I'll have them speak for themselves, but by way of very brief introduction of them, Amy comes to us from ESPN.com, where she's a senior editor. She's worked at Sports Illustrated, worked at the Sporting News, worked with some of the top writers in journalism, is a magnificent, incredibly graceful writer herself, and just has a real passion for wanting to teach. And so we are so fortunate to have that passion align with our opening and her coming into that job. So that's great. And likewise, Fadia Nordtveit is someone with just incredible credentials, author of 2 books already, someone who has incredible multimedia skills, is really like the Swiss Army knife of journalism, could teach anything. And terrific writing teacher, as well as already working on some very impressive partnerships for next year. She's going to be taking over our TV program. Amy's going to be taking over the advising of our student newspaper. So we have a whole new era of campus media with these 2 amazing women. I will let them speak for themselves. So Fadia, you want to go first?
Hi all, I'm Dr. Fadia Nordtveit, and thank you so much. I was looking forward to this day. I was actually a little bit nervous to meet like the whole group of people that I'm going to be starting with, and you know, it's a little bit of a social break. That's how I see it. A little bit of a nerve-wracking social break from my daily work day in the spring. I'm looking forward to joining the team of communication. And I wanted to let you guys know that I have a lot of plans, and I've been thinking about talking to Marty, and I've been speaking to other people on campus already about how to how things were running when it comes to the TV angle of things, which is essentially the part that I'll be specializing in, and trying to put my own signature in it and growing it in a way that will be valuable to you and valuable to me. And today I'd love to, if there is some time, to share a couple of the projects that I'm involved in now, to sort of, so that you guys get to know me a little bit better about my current projects and stuff that I'll be bringing in for students, and whether there would be interest in you or your friends to be part of these different projects that students have opportunities to get engaged in the world of multimedia, TV, and film. All right, thank you so much.
We'll go to you, Amy.
Oh, thank you, Marty. And I don't know how to, that was a wonderful tee up. Thank you so much. And Fadia is a tough act to follow too, but I'm super excited to be joining Springfield College and the COSJ program. Throughout the process, I was, one of the things that I was most impressed with was the very clear and genuine bond that you, Marty, and you, Kyle, have with the students. It was clear, and it continues to be as I've had conversations with some of the current students over the past couple of months, that that it's a really special program and that you have a special relationship with each of the students. In addition to the work that Marty mentioned, I also teach feature writing and magazine writing at Central Connecticut State here in New Britain, Connecticut. And obviously I will not be doing that when I move to Springfield, but it's been a wonderful experience. And I actually just had a conversation earlier today with one of my former students. He just landed an internship. And then I had a follow-up conversation after that with one of my colleagues at ESPN. She actually works, Monique Jones, she is an editor at The Undefeated. And we were just talking, she is looking to fill some positions and to make some hires. And she was wondering if I had any recommendations. And that's one of the things that excites me most about being able to teach full time and joining the program at Springfield. There, as I told her, there are a wealth of students who are going to be candidates for jobs. And I'm looking forward to connecting some of the people I know from the professional world and from my network with students at Springfield, because it's exciting when I hear about opportunities that are out there and have people coming to me looking for qualified candidates. And I feel like I've already met a number of students who are currently in the program who are rock stars, and I look forward to meeting more and bringing more like you all into helping bring them into the program. So can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to also actually getting to, I have not yet had the opportunity to visit campus, but I am looking forward to like hopefully we all will be able to soon.
So we're just wondering, it's really your time, prospective students, if there are any questions that you have for us or things that you'd like to hear more about in terms of from the faculty perspective. Want to emphasize that in terms of the size of our program, we have been, generally around, 60-ish students, about 15 per class year. So we have no idea. I mean, this is just, one of several events that we do as recruiting events during the course of the year. And so, the people that you see before you, and I guess Molly, who I think is no longer on the call now, but she was here with the student session, I believe.
Yeah, she's trying to get back in. She's having some connectivity issues. She just texted me. So I assured her that if she's not able to get in, we'll get her the link of the recording. So she's really bummed out right now.
Okay, thanks, Katie. So yeah, that's, and it's, so yeah, about 60 students. We know each other. I mean, you get a sense, I think that, I think what Amy says is absolutely true, that there's this very authentic bond that students have with faculty. And it's, first name basis and very, just a lot of give and take, a lot of shared experience. And so I think that, you will sense that. And also want to echo Kyle's invitation in terms of if you're interested in sitting in on a class at some point during this semester, would open my classes as well. I'm teaching an advanced journalism class this semester, which is mostly a sort of feature writing type of class, and then a seminar class called Martin, Malcolm, and the Media, that's about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and their intersection with the media, as well as applications with sort of current social justice issues. And certainly anybody who's interested in sitting in on one or both of those classes, by all means, would be happy to have you. So any questions?
Yeah, what questions do you have for us, or what things do you want us to talk more about? It doesn't have to be necessarily. We'll make sure that you're asking awesome questions for the next 4 years. You can just make a statement and we'll react if you want. No stress in putting the question mark at the end.
Also, one thing that I would want to know from you guys would be that where are you at with your interests? Meaning you're coming in here with all kinds of intersectionalities of interest. So like what drives you, what gets you into this major, why are you here? And sort of like, what are the kind of things that you want us to be talking about in our classes that we're going to be offering? So that would be really nice for me to know as well.
Morty, can I just ask you a quick personal question?
Sure.
You happen to be speaking in my class tomorrow for Eric Bellier?
I did not realize the connection, but yes, indeed I am.
I thought so.
So that's, yeah, so interestingly, Taylor and Hayden are laughing right now. So Eric, who graduated last year and is teaching this year on Long Island. Where are you from, Harrison?
I'm from Oyster Bay. It's in Long Island, Brookville.
The Oyster Bay Baymen is
yes.
High school. Yeah, I grew up on Long Island myself. So yeah, so Eric asked me if I would come and talk to his class. So that's happening tomorrow. So yeah, we'll have a little more contact tomorrow, Harrison.
Okay.
Harrison, do you want to kick us off and answer Dr. Nordfit's little inquiry, her inquiry about, where do your interests currently lie? What are you hoping to get out of it? And then I see Rashik put a question in the chat as well.
I'd say my interest for this whole topic has just grown ever since I was probably 10, 12 years old. I've always loved to just speak about sports. I could go, when I was young, I would go to a restaurant and I'd speak to people, adults at a bar about sports. So I guess naturally gifted, right? to be able to speak to adults at a young age, and I love sports, so I thought that was like an easy thing to talk to, which introduced me to speaking to peers at a young age. I'm looking forward to getting better at writing. I feel like my writing is not terrible, but it always could use some work. Yeah, that's just a starting point.
That's excellent. Thank you. Any of the other, I don't want to spotlight anyone, but does anyone else want to react to Dr. Nortvit's question? It's okay if not, she's not taking names just yet.
Yeah. So in my career, I like plan to like to possibly be like a writer or possibly like a journalist like for the like the professional league teams, like for like baseball, football, and possibly the NBA as well. What drove me to sports would probably be when I was 6. I turned on the TV, and I'm actually like, watching it on TV right now. I've been watching Sports Center like every day ever since I was like 6. Like it's the only channel I watch. And when I was 6, they were showing highlights of the 2003 Syracuse men's basketball team. I believe they won the national championship with Carmelo Anthony in his first year. And like ever since then, like I've just been like a huge fan of like just all the sports. And I just want to stay involved with it for the rest of my life because it's a huge passion of mine. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's a great answer. And I will say, Rashik, that as a Syracuse alum myself, that year meant an awful lot to me. That the Hakeem Warwick, Jerry McNamara, Carmelo Anthony team, hearing you shout them out like that was pretty awesome. So yeah, excellent.
Thank you so much for answering that. So I think like we'll get to know you guys and what motivates you when you're in class with us. But it's always good to know sort of what brought you here. And it looks like you put it back to us too, what drove you into here. So let us go.
Do you want to take the ball here, Fadia?
No, I want to go last.
Yes. Is this the not it moment?
Seriously, I don't want to go first.
You're like, no, I'm being very honest.
Yeah, I'm being really honest.
So I'll be as brief as I can. My story actually starts at the SI Newhouse School of Public Communications at Syracuse, but it lasts exactly 1 year, because I, as a first generation college student, as someone who had never had family members on a college campus before, I was overwhelmed by the Newhouse experience. I had wonderful classes, but I was afraid of being outed as a pretender. And I very rapidly transferred into the secondary education, this English and secondary education, see Kinsley in there. And I finished and I taught high school English for 3 years. And then I realized that I was a pretender. I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. I should have been in the media. And so I started freelancing high school football in South Carolina, which is a really big deal in South Carolina. And I loved it. And it turned out I was pretty good at it. And so I climbed the ladder from there, and I've had some wonderful professional experiences, but I swore when Marty and the late Dennis Gilday and hired me 11 years ago that my primary goal was to make sure that no student who had my background would ever feel even if they came in with a lack of confidence, I never wanted them to doubt their ability, because those of us who are first generation college students, those of us who have never written for a paper or spoken on the radio, or we've been, this industry belongs to you too. And so that's been my goal since day one here, is to build that bridge with the first generation students, as well as, having fun with everyone. But I want to make sure that everyone feels seen. So that's what drove me into the journalism industry. And then that's what keeps me here at Springfield in education. We know who's not going next. It's Fadia.
Why don't you go next, Amy, so we break this gender dynamic? Guys,
Gotcha. Okay. So I like Harrison, I was like talking, I started talking about sports, probably not at a bar, but my dad played college football, and my grandfather had played baseball, and they were both huge influences on me. So I my earliest memories of watching sports together with my family. So I kind of knew early on that I wanted to do something in sports. And then I had a very influential professor a teacher actually, when I was still in elementary school, who told me one day, you have a talent for writing. I want you to keep going. I'll never forget those words and the impact that she had on me. And so I just decided, kind of like in sixth grade, this is what I wanted to do. I want to be a sports writer. I want to write about sports. And like Kyle, in high school, I actually covered my high school's football team. And we had moved. I moved around a lot as a kid. We lived in Oklahoma at that point. You want to talk about a place where football at every level is a big deal. High school football, Pee Wee football, college football, everything is a big deal in Oklahoma. So that was a really, sort of swift indoctrination into writing about a sport that everybody cares about. And it was great. I learned a lot from that. And then I went on to write for my college paper, did a couple of internships, got a job when I graduated working at the Sporting News. And then, as Marty mentioned, I was fortunate enough to go on and cover a variety of different sports. I've actually covered everything from the World Series to the Westminster Dog Show, which, you can debate whether or not that's an actual athletic event. After meeting some of the dogs, I actually think it is. But I sort of always knew that I loved sports and I wanted to cover it, and it's fun. There's a reason they call sports has always been known as the toy department, because we get to cover sports for a living. And like Rashik, like you said, same thing. Sports Center was always on. I was always watching sports because I loved it and I was fascinated by it. So it's been fun. It's there are days like today when I saw a little while ago the breaking news about Tiger Woods. Sometimes you're covering more than just games and scores. You're covering real life issues and things that happen to athletes. So it hasn't all been fun and games. I've learned a lot about actually covering news and covering real issues too. But there's always definitely some fun in there too.
I love that reference to the Westminster Dog Show there, and my dog William just perked up, so I just gave him a brief little screen time in response. So let's see. For me, it's always been about teaching and writing. That's been much of my life and all of my professional life in one form or another. I've had sort of three jags in my career. Started out like Kyle as a high school English teacher, then did full-time journalism, and then found a way to combine them at Springfield College. And those are just two things that make me feel richly alive, and it just resonates for me in my mind and my heart. I think journalism is just a super important field. I think it's never been more important. I think the work of storytelling is the way that we make sense of the world. I think we learn it through narrative, and there's a power in it. And so it's always been exciting for me. I've always loved reading the work of great writers. you know, aspiring to write well myself and to try to help students elevate their own abilities in that area too. Yeah, and the sports thing has been important to me as well. I mean, it was my entree into the field. It was my initial interest. I think it's, for me, it's morphed quite a bit. It went sort of from sports to the sort of link of sports and social justice issues, and those still are really important and central to me. And then, you know, maybe more to some of just the civil rights, social justice stuff. And our major, you know, accommodates all of that. You know, we often, it's important to emphasize that, you know, while it's the title sports is in the major, communication, sports, journalism, and there's, you know, you definitely get a feeling even in, you know, this small gathering that that's something that is a driving force for a number of people. It's only one part of what we do. I think really we are a straight journalism major informed by a strong sports interest. And we've had a great number of students who have come in and have maybe came in with an initial interest in sports, but have gravitated to other things and have gone on and are working professionally in aspects of the media that have nothing to do with sports. And this year has been particularly fascinating and really gratifying for me in terms of watching our students work, because this year, because of COVID, the sports program at Springfield College has been minimal. I mean, there has been no competition really until this week, when there was the first virtual competition with gymnastics teams performing against each other in different locations by video. And as a result, our journalists, many of whom came in with a real Jones for wanting to cover sports, have had to go in other directions. And they've done so gracefully and so thoughtfully. And it's made me so incredibly proud of them. Please check out the student newspaper this coming week, which comes out on Thursday and will be available to you if you go onto scstudentmedia.com, because this is a big issue that is all student generated. It was their idea completely, their execution. It's a Black Lives Matter focused issue, and it looks at a number of our alums of color. And there are just some really amazingly well researched and well-written stories. So that's been very gratifying. And now, because she desired the last position, I pass the baton to Dr. Fadia Nordtveit.
Hi all. My journey has been kind of serendipitous as well as intentional, because I feel that that sort of the role of both things play a significant, sort of like a trajectory in people's lives. So when I was 16, I started working really early. When I was 14, I was really bored in school, and because I was a really good student, so good for me, but I was also really bored because school wasn't enough for me, because I went to a really strict private English school, and the educational system is really different in the English system, where you basically have to be obsessed with books and reading all the time, which is great, but I was it wasn't really making me happy, because I was good at it and I needed more. And so I used to intern in a nonprofit from the age of 14. It was a social justice nonprofit. And after that nonprofit offered me to write a book when I was 16. And I wrote my first book when I was 16, 17, on male trafficking in the farming industry. So after that, I realized that if I can be, and it was not even in my first language. So what I realized was, when I wrote that book when I was 17, that, wow, I can actually write and I can be good at it. The book sold quite a bit, and I was really young. Most people were not writing a book at that time. I have kids, and my kids are certainly not writing books at, they're not 17 yet, but I somehow don't suspect any of them getting there at 17. And so anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that I really learned early. I was good at writing and I loved writing. So I think that's both, that it was important to know how to write well and also to love what you do and to believe in what you do. And I think that happened to me really early on, and it continued. I went into doing my undergrad at Hampshire College and designed my own major in Amherst, Mass. And then I continued with my MA and PhD in communication with a very heavy focus on sustainability and social justice. So these are sort of my areas: environment, social justice, and multimedia technologies. So I'm hoping to bring that into Springfield College with my teaching, with my writing, with the service projects that I'm running, as well as a lot of student engaged projects that I do, which I'm always looking for students to work with. And we spoke about this, Marty and I and Kyle and I, that I have a lot of ongoing projects that need student interns and student work. So I'm hoping to build a very collaborative and active relationship with my students, with a whole bunch of projects that I'm doing, starting from multimedia television show called Talking Out of Line, and to a book project that I'm doing right now on millennials, Gen Z, and the fair trade revolution. And I'm also looking forward to starting talks on figuring out ways of developing a multimedia lab in Springfield College that I've spoken about, which would incorporate hopefully the expertise of all of us in our program and beyond in campus, and have different space built for journalism, for sports writing, for social justice work, for environment, for whatever can be under this giant hub called Multimedia Hub. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing that culture, and a special interest of mine that I would like to extend more classes in down the line in Springfield College, which hopefully you will be able to experience in your years coming up, are film classes as well, because I think advertising and film classes would be sort of a perfect complement to what we already offer when it comes to TV, and it would be a natural growth. So I think that would be, maybe some of you are interested in exploring film and other forms of TV, film, and film festivals even, because that's one of my research areas. So thanks.
You know, it strikes me that it is 5:35 already, and I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. This was to go to 5:30. I know that Luke had to actually head to a basketball game. That's why he had to leave us as well. So I know that, you know, folks have things that are going on. I'm going to put my email address in the chat, respecting that some people may need to leave. Or I'm sure Del McGoffin's going to hop on and be like, no, Kyle, you can't keep them any longer. You have to let them go. So in that regard, I want to encourage everyone to stay as in touch as you'd like. Okay, I can't type and talk at the same time.
Even though I don't have a Springfield College email address yet, I put in my Gmail address. And if you guys have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to me. And soon Amy and I should have Springfield College email addresses, right?
You will.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to say, this feels an awful lot like the first time was at the 2017 Warriors. That like I was just seeing everyone in this screen right now feels really empowering. Feels really, really cool. I'm really excited about this, y'all.
It is exciting, and it's, you know, I hope that for the students who are considering our program, that this has energized your excitement and not extinguished it in any way. I mean, to me, this is just such a, as I mentioned, this is just the best time to be coming to Springfield College. The major has been great already, but our best days are so clearly ahead of us. And it's just, I know Kyle and I mean, we talk about this all the time, that we're just really feel that we have now arrived and that we are just on the verge of being what we've always wanted to be. And so I would encourage you to, as Kyle said, reach back, any questions that you have. You guys are the consumers. It's an important choice. There's a lot at stake for you psychically, financially, in every way. You want to do everything that you can to ensure that you are making the right choice. And if there's more information that you need, by all means, please reach out to us. If you'd like to sit in on a class, by all means, you're more than welcome to do so. I know that our students would also welcome it. And if you have friends of yours who are, also have an interest in this field and are looking around for a program, please spread the word, because you have the opportunity to be part of something that's going to be fantastic. And we love people who really are interested in what we love. So the more the merrier.
I'd like to encourage Taylor Sanzo to fail 3 classes this semester so that you can come back next semester. Just 3. I'm not asking for much. Just fail 3 classes.
Try.
Better in 2, so I've got some power here.
All right. So honestly, thank you for joining us today, Rhys, Harrison, and Rashik. It's been such an honor for Rhys and Rashik to have you in class today. And then for Harrison, just to email me right around 3 o'clock today. He wanted to check in with me to let me know that he was accepted yesterday. So congratulations. And he wasn't even aware that today's event was happening. And so I just got him the link as quickly as possible.
That's awesome.
I could not be more pumped about that. So with that said, I guess have a lovely evening. Yeah. Del, is there anything you need to close with? What's up, B? Brian McGoffin.
Just having a little apple juice in the background. It's nice to see everyone.
Work from home. It's always full of surprises.
That's Brian McGoffin, our sports information director.
If you end up being a student here, you will interact with him. So it's actually quite appropriate.
I look forward to working with you all soon. Some post-game interviews, some highlight reels.
We are being COVID safe because we're married. So we're allowed to, we're employees who are allowed to be around each other.
Welcome to Springfield.
No, I'm just really happy you all stuck with it. I know you're probably hungry, ready for dinner, or have to do homework. So just to fit this all in is really appreciated. Thank you so much. I'm muted. There's lots to come from us in terms of future events. We don't want you to think that, this is one and done. So we'll have lots of other opportunities for you to continue getting to know our community as you are, aiming to make your decision. So thank you so much for being here. I'm sure you're all ready to have some dinner and kind of decompress from the screen.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. I'll talk to you all soon. Okay.
Bye all.